Well, folks, welcome to Smart Living. And I'm kind of excited and kind of not, because the fact that we're talking about air conditioning today is showing you that we are now in hot summer season. And if you live in the Valley, it is tough to be that. So I am here with Justin, who is with George Brazil, which is an air conditioning company that has been around the Valley for a long time. And also, you guys are a very accredited business with the Better Business Bureau. So welcome, and thanks for coming on and talking to us. I love it.
I appreciate you having us on.
Well, this is so timely. So today it actually happens to be that we're going to be in a heat wave. So it's going to be like 114 degrees, and we're only in June.
Oh, yeah.
So with that being said, we've had some pretty rough summers the last 2 summers. I'm sure you guys have been pretty busy.
Yes. Yeah. Last year, July, I think it was the hottest July on record. So it was busy.
And business was busy. Were you guys able to keep up with the demands in terms of like what everybody was requiring in terms of air conditioning? I bet you replaced probably more air conditioning units than ever before, my guess would be.
Yeah, we kept up. It's getting to those customers, as quick as possible. That's our whole entire mission for the summertime, because it's dangerous. There's a lot of people with only one unit and elderly. Those we dispatch immediately. Those are emergency situations, So as soon as they're coming in, we're just constantly reorganizing the guys to get them to take care of these customers.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good, because that brings to a point. So one of the things when you and I first met, I was like, you guys are an established company. You've been around for a while. You're a big company. And there's a lot of small air conditioning units in the Valley. There's pop-ups. There's people who leave their working for an employer and start their own business. What are some of the things that you would suggest for consumers? Because I know that probably, I'm going to guess at least 60% of people in the Valley will probably need some sort of air conditioning assistance within the next couple months. Yeah. What are some things that consumers should look for in terms of making you guys a smart buy? Like, why would people want to do business with George Brazil versus doing business with another little, small little air conditioning place?
Well, that's a great question. There's a lot of differences between the larger companies versus the smaller guys. So the smaller guys, not putting them down. So there's a lot of great ones out there.
Sure, of course.
We've taken a lot of people that's actually gone through our ranks and started their own smaller companies, but they are not quite equipped for those emergency situations. They can't be everywhere.
Right.
So, going with the larger company that you actually have a relationship with, we're going to come out there and take care of you.
Right. And I'm going to say that I actually agree with you on this 100%, because years ago that probably might have changed my opinion. Mm-hmm. But now it's all about reliability, because when your air conditioning goes out, you could die from it. I mean, this heat is unbearable. And so having a company that can stand behind you and respond to you within hours of when that AC goes down. Because even I probably am an anxious person anyways, but I will say that the first, June, all of a sudden you start hearing of these heat waves. Yeah. I actually am having a lot of anxiety because it's freaking me out. And you know what the anxiety is for? I have rental properties, and I am responsible for these people to keep their homes, air conditioning and cool. And so going with a reliable company that can show up is really important.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to try to prevent that anxiety from happening.
Okay, tell me about it.
So it's scary when you don't know what to do. What's your next steps?
Yeah.
The emergency situation happens. Now you're doing all your reviews. You're checking things. You're looking online. What do we do? Let's take a chance with this one.
Right.
So I would try to be proactive on that aspect and actually do your research when you don't have to.
Right, exactly. Ahead of time. That's great advice, Justin.
Yeah.
That's really good advice.
Then you're not just freaking out. Now you can call. And
right.
You have a relationship with them. You trust them, and they know you. And so you call and you're worried that your unit's not working right, they go out there and take care of you.
So this is one thing that is really important with the Better Business Bureau. You guys are an accredited business with the Better Business Bureau, and we're actually hosting this podcast in the Better Business Bureau studio because I've partnered with them. But one of the reasons why is because when you have a business that has been accredited, that is wanting to go up to the Better Business Bureau standards and conduct ethical business, and also, be a member and make sure that you respond to your customers' complaints, because that's part of being with the Better Business Bureau. You have to respond to people's complaints, and then also you're graded on that. Right. So with what's going on with the air conditioning, I think I most certainly would want to go with a company and do the research, and the Better Business Bureau is a point of research to do that. So my next question to you is, being that you are an accredited business, do you find value in being, a accredited business with a Better Business? Does that help with, your narrative and, helping with customers feel comfortable doing business with you guys?
So from a customer perspective, I don't know. I'm not a customer. From mine, it makes us feel better. We know our mission, and we know our taking care of customers is proven by being part of the BBB.
Right.
So, it just gives us that sense of pride with our company. And if there's any sort of issues, there's that third party there with the BBB. They let us know this customer's upset, and then usually they'll go to the BBB if they don't realize they can just call us.
Right.
And so if they would have just called us, we would take care of you.
Right.
But some people don't realize that, and that's okay.
Right. And usually some people want a third party because they're like, I had a problem with this person, or this company, and I want someone to protect me. So that is one extra layer of protection. But let's talk about the air conditioning stuff. Okay. So with air conditioning, what are some things that consumers can do? Because let's talk about the anxiety. This anxiety is for real. It's 114 degrees. I worry that we're so early in the summer season that these air conditioning units can't handle this heat.
Yeah. Well, there's things you can do to try to prevent that from, there's things that's going to happen, but when you are being proactive about it and you've had the company out that's going to come take care of you, you know who they are, so that at least relieves that anxiety, because there's that door anxiety of them showing up. You're wondering when they're going to show up, who they are. And then, so you're looking out the window.
Well, at that point, you don't care. It's 114 degrees and you are on fire.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You'll take anybody to come and be like, hey, could you just look at my AC? But yes, you're right. Sorry to me to cut you off there.
Yeah. So I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. I threw you off there. The question I was asking you, and I'm really good about that, by the way, Jess. Yes. And I'm very good about that, Jess. I'm totally squirrel all the way there. Sorry about that.
For preventative items, there's the maintenances that you can get done. That also helps the company that you're with, kind of build, a case on what's going on with this unit.
So is it important to get service? Let me ask you a better question.
Yeah.
What are the things that we can do to prevent from our air conditioning going out in the summertime? How's that one? And that's a subjective question.
Not subjective. It's a multi-layered.
Okay.
There's a lot of things you can do, whether or not it's hiring a company to do them for you, or you being handy and being able to do some of those things yourself. But when you call us out, we do a complete inspection where we're not just looking at the heating system, or not just looking at the cooling system. Every time we come out, we look at everything, so that way we give our customers a complete picture of everything that's happening on that job, and not wondering what else might pop up.
Right.
Only looking at one thing. So, having us out for those sort of things, that will give you a clear picture on what do I need to do to prolong the life of this system.
Right. So preventative maintenance is actually for real.
Yes.
If you do preventive maintenance, just like you do on your body, preventative maintenance. So we have the Dr. George Brazil come by while we're running healthy, right? While the AC unit's feeling healthy, that's a good time to get an inspection, because if there is anything coming up or any potential things, you can nip that ahead of time before we get into heating season and summer season.
Something small, you don't address it, you don't know about it,
right?
Because no one looked at it, that can snowball and turn into an actual bigger problem down the road.
Okay. Yes. And I feel that is some very good advice that we can do. So let's say that we didn't do that.
Okay.
What are
Shame
some?
on you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Shame on you. What are some common problems with air conditioning units that usually go bad? Like, what are some common things? I know, is Freon even a thing now? Do we even have that?
That's just like Kleenex or a tissue. But yeah, Freon refrigerant is what we normally call it, because that covers all the spectrums of the types of refrigerant.
No, but what are some of the common things where AC units go bad? Like, what are some of the repairs?
So most common are motors, capacitors. That's probably the top thing, and then coil leaks.
Coil leaks.
Yeah.
Those are the ones where you need the Freon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Refrigerant.
Refrigerant. I'm sorry. Where am I getting Freon? Where's that coming? Is that an old term or something?
That's just talking about like similar with Kleenex or tissue.
Got it. I get what you're saying. It's a brand. It's a brand, not a title. Got it. So refrigerant's what it is. Freon's a brand. Thank you. You did say that earlier. The other thing when it comes to, so I'm thinking about like ways that we can, we've talked about ways that we could.
I forgot something.
Yeah.
Filters. Change your filters.
Yes.
That is a common one that causes issues. So prevents the unit from cooling the house down as fast, and it can't keep up in the middle of summertime. And it's all because of a dirty, clogged filter.
And that's like a $3 thing that you can change out.
Depending on the type of filter that you prefer.
And how often would you recommend that somebody do that?
When it gets dirty.
Okay. So it just depends on the house because some houses have more dust than others.
When I was in the field, I got that question all the time.
Yeah.
And it was really very subjective. And so like, I don't know if I want to, look at the house and be like, well, your house is really clean, so at least once a couple months. But, obviously you can't say that, but you're just trying to think of, so the most that lands on all customers whenever it gets dirty.
Okay.
Usually is once a month here in Arizona. But if you do have a lot of pets, it's going to be probably more often than that. If you don't have any pets and you're not going in and out all the time, then you might get away with it being longer than once a month.
True. Or a house that's not well insulated that just has a lot of dust. So yeah, I usually make sure to change out my filters about every 3 months. And I found that. So calling your air conditioning guy, do yearly maintenance when it's not probably prime season would be a wise thing to do. And also making sure you stay on top of your filters. That's what I'm hearing you say are really the two things that we should do as consumers that help, prevent maybe a potential, outage. And when an AC is out, it's out.
Right.
Okay. This is an interesting question. What is the longest air conditioning unit that you have ever worked on? Like
the oldest unit?
Yeah.
So I remember uninstalling one probably 17 years ago, and it was I think it was a Lennox, and it's about as big as a car. It was up in the attic, and it's like there's no way, how are we going to get this thing out? So we had to disassemble the whole entire thing.
Oh my
cut
God.
a hole in the roof in order to extract it that way.
Are you serious? What was that, like from 1970s?
Older than that.
Oh my
probably
God.
from the 50s.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I heard that brand.
Yeah.
That might be a brand
that's
that's
way different compared to what they look like today.
Wow, that's crazy. I had one on one of my rental properties that was 35 years old.
Okay.
So that was like crazy. I couldn't believe it. I had to like double check the manufacturer's date. That was unbelievable. I mean, it was a workhorse.
The funny thing is, the older the equipment, the more protective people are of it, and they just want to see how long they can get it going.
Totally
keep
true.
It going for it. So I get it. It's funny.
Yeah, but usually that's not very cost effective either because the older units do not run efficiently at all.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely hit you in the pocketbook. So you'll pay for that pride, in the long run. But it's, more power to them. It's one of those things where it was built with craftsmanship and it's lasted that long. You trust it, so. I can see the customer's point of view. My point of view is that's wasting you a lot of money.
Right, it's nostalgia, baby. It's
noisy.
nostalgia.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we talked about AC units. Now, when you guys replace an AC unit, is there a particular brand of ACs that you guys use, or do you have your own branded, or
we
it just
install
depends?
them all.
Okay, so you go for all different kinds, and so you're not. It just depends on what's available there.
What's available is a big one, with the economy things.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the supply chain.
It's supply chain hurts. So most importantly, what can we get that will fit this customer's needs right now? That's the most important thing.
Yes.
And then from there, who's going to be there to be around to help us if something goes wrong?
Right.
So if a part breaks down, who can we get parts from the fastest? Who do we trust to provide us that service so we can provide our customers?
I love that thinking because now you can fit, because this is an urgent thing sometimes when AC is out. Yeah. So I love that you're thinking that.
If a company doesn't keep parts on hand, we're not going to use them.
Yeah.
We'll tell the customers, don't use that one right now. They don't have any stock.
Okay. Are you guys finding that the supply chain, coming out of the pandemic, we had a real major problem with the supply chain. Are you finding that it's now better for you guys in terms of with the air conditioning?
It's a little better than what it was back then.
Oh, it's a little better. It's still not.
It's still not perfect.
Okay.
There's a lot of different things coming down the line with the EPA regulation changes. So they're having to switch to a whole new refrigerant, which means all the manufacturers now have to retool everything. So they're slowing down their production of the older refrigerant, and now they're starting to ramp up, trying to figure out what do they need to make for the new refrigerant that meets the guidelines. So that's causing a little bit of a hiccup.
Which is my next question. So with the EPA, environmental, and all the protections, are there any new technologies coming out in air conditioning units that might be great for us consumers?
More efficient.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
still more
always
energy
a thing.
efficient.
They're battling each other who can make the most efficient and the quietest and the smallest. But we had a time there where everything was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because that's how you make things more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it hard for us because now we have to make this giant, thing fit into this little hole. So, luckily we're skilled. We can figure out how to do that. And so, but now with the new refrigerant, there's different opportunities. So I'm excited. I like change. I love the old refrigerant, but we'll see what happens with this new stuff.
Well, you obviously like the air conditioning unit because you said you've been working for George Brazil for like 17 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, the longevity is great. So you really are in your niche there when it comes to air conditioning.
It's fun. Fun and easy. Right, Ann?
Okay, I don't think it's easy. So I don't think being an well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's one of the most difficult jobs next to construction there, because I mean, you have to get on top of the roof and install these. You're like outside in the heat. Now I know that you have cranes that come in depending on the location of that,
right.
But man, that's got to be hard on your body.
Yeah, it's almost a pride thing though with the guys,
Yeah.
So all the field guys in the HVAC, they look at it as I'm the big guy around town, So
why don't you take 120 degrees? Right. I've been out there. Yeah.
I have to be part roofer. I got to be part carpenter. I have to be part plumber, and so it's a jack of all trades.
Well, not only that, you're crawling into small spaces. Like, I mean, like going up into people's attics. I mean, when it's like 120 degrees, it's 140, 50 degrees in there.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than that, actually.
God.
I remember being in one, and I pulled out my meter because this feels abnormally hot. And I was at 169. And then I was thinking, well, I'm up there. Well, my steak is well done at 160. Oh, no, I better hurry.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy. I'm sure you guys have training for all of that and how to stay
absolutely.
cool and things like that. So that's great. Well, Justin, I'm so glad that you came on and talked to us a little bit about air conditioning. And I appreciate you guys being an ethical business and doing good business. So we know that as consumers, you're going to perform the job that we're asking you to hire.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us on. I love talking about what we do and how we do it, and it's obviously interesting to me. So I think it's interesting to other people, and it's just the way things are going. Is the outlook is awesome with how many people are coming up, new guys coming up through the trades, and being able to help these guys grow, give them a career path. It's just. Yeah, there's no words to describe how fun that is.
Well, that's good. But that shows because you've been there for 17 years. Yeah. So that shows that they invest in their employees. George Brazil does too, and in the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Justin, thank you so much. Stay cool.
Thanks.
Drink water. And I hope never to see you at my house because that means that my AC unit went out.
Unless you just want us to tune it up.
That's true. That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, folks, listen, I'll have more information about George Brazil on my blog at smartshopperdaphne.com. And hang on really quick, Justin. Okay. I know you don't know that I do this, but I'm going to look at the camera here. I have a tagline. And don't forget, guys, I'm Daphne Monroe, your smart shopper.